The words cut sharper than any blade. I hate you. You're just jealous that Mom's new husband is richer and nicer. It wasn't just what my son said. It was the way his voice cracked, the venom in it, the way he looked at me as if I was some stranger. My boy, the same boy I'd carried on my shoulders, taught to ride a bike, kissed goodnight 1,000 times. I froze on the driveway, the autumn wind cold against my face, though nothing felt colder than that sentence. And then I saw her, my ex-wife, sitting smugly in the driver's seat of her luxury SUV, phone tilted just enough for me to catch the reflection of its screen. She was recording, smirking like she'd won something. It all clicked in a sickening instant. She'd planted those words in his head, fed him the lines, and now she was harvesting them, capturing me in the worst possible light, waiting for me to snap, to yell, to look like the monster she wanted the court to believe I was. For a second, I nearly broke. Anger surged in me, hot and uncontrollable. But then something inside me shifted. Instead of exploding, I simply turned. I walked back inside the house, the echo of my son's hateful words still burning in my ears. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the grain of the wood, my hands trembling. Rage, heartbreak, helplessness. They all tangled together until I could barely breathe. And then I remembered my second phone, the one no one knew about, the one I had hidden away months ago, when I realized the games my ex-wife was playing weren't just petty, they were calculated. I pulled it out from its hiding spot in the drawer. My thumb hovered over the screen for a moment before I unlocked it, and there they were, the files, videos, recordings, months of them, because while she was scheming, I wasn't blind. I'd seen the manipulation. I'd heard my son repeating words no child should know. I'd watched her new husband, Darren, parade around like he'd bought my family out from under me. I'd endured the smugness, the poison, the constant attempts to erase me, and I had kept receipts. Every cruel text she sent, every voicemail where she threatened to turn my son against me if I didn't cave on money. Every time she slipped and let her real self out, confident that no one would ever believe me. I had been patient. I had been quiet. And tonight, with that phone in my hand, I knew patience was over. I uploaded the first video. Her voice, sharp and venomous. Just tell the judge you don't like staying with Dad. Tell them he's boring, that he makes you feel unsafe. Do you want me to lose? Do you want me to be poor? Another file. Her new husband sneering at me during a pickup. Man, just let her have full custody. You'll never give the kid the life I can. And another. My son crying in the background, begging her to stop yelling at me during one of our handoffs. One by one, I uploaded them. To the cloud. To an attorney's email I had drafted months ago. To a shared drive no one could touch. And then, with my hand steady now, I pressed one more button. I made a post, not to smear her publicly, but to protect myself. A carefully worded message. For anyone who knows me and has seen the lies being spread, the truth will come out. I have been silent, but I will not be erased from my son's life. What you are about to hear will explain everything. And I linked the first recording. It spread faster than I expected. Within hours, people who once whispered behind my back were messaging me, apologizing, saying they had no idea. Friends who thought I was just bitter in the divorce heard her voice for themselves. The narrative was crumbling. The next day, my lawyer called. His voice carried something I hadn't heard in a long time. Hope, we've got them. Don't say a word to her. Let this play out. But it wasn't just about the courts anymore. It was about my son. The boy who had screamed that he hated me. The boy who had been turned into a weapon. The hardest part wasn't exposing her. The hardest part was sitting across from him a week later, when the judge ordered supervised exchanges and therapy. He wouldn't look at me. His eyes were full of confusion, anger, and shame he couldn't even name yet. And I wanted to grab him, to hold him, to tell him none of this was his fault, that the poison wasn't his voice, it was hers. But instead, I stayed steady, gentle, patient, because now I had proof. And with proof, I had time. Claire, my ex-wife, stormed through the courthouse halls like a cornered animal, her phone useless now, her smirk gone. Darren avoided my eyes, his arrogance deflating, and though the war wasn't over, the tide had turned. Weeks stretched into months. Therapy sessions began to unwind the knots she had tied in my son's heart. Slowly, painfully, he started to see through the lies. His anger softened. His eyes met mine again. One evening, sitting on the edge of his bed, he whispered the words I thought I'd never hear again. "Dad, I'm sorry." I pulled him close, fighting the lump in my throat. "You don't have to be sorry, buddy. None of this is your fault. I love you. Always." And in that moment, I realized something. She had tried to erase me, to turn my son into a weapon, to use wealth and manipulation and lies to rewrite our story. But truth has a way of surviving. Love has a way of outlasting the games people play. That second phone, the one she didn't know existed, saved me. But what really saved me was refusing to break. Even when everything inside me screamed to give up, betrayal nearly destroyed us. But in the end, it became the very thing that exposed her. And as I tucked my son in that night, I knew she could record 100 videos, twist 1,000 words, but she could never erase the truth of who I was to him, his father, forever.